Hey, what is up guys? It's Slikk here. I'm back again with another video, and in this one we're going to be talking about Batman Return to Arkham, specifically what I love and what I'm not so keen on for the remastered title. So before I get started, I do want to thank all of you so very much for the concern that you showed. Of course, if you were up earlier in the day yesterday, you're aware that I uploaded about like 7 Batman Return to Arkham videos, all of which were taken down by me though. They were not forcibly taken down. However, it turns out that many Batman Return to Arkham gameplay videos were forcibly removed by Warner Brothers today. Now, personally, I think this is rather unnecessary, if we're just being honest here, considering that the game is 5 and 7 years old, respectively. Both games are, just about. And, yeah, just sort of wholly unnecessary to delete gameplay. Although it is remastered and it's technically a new game, I feel as though it's a little bit, you know, whatever, not necessary. I'll just reuse that phrase. Okay, so anyway, I did decide to take mine down yesterday, so later in the evening. They were not forcibly removed, so thank you all. I'm just very appreciative that people showed concern that I didn't get copyright striked, and you know, that sort of thing. I really do appreciate it, and thank you all so much for watching those videos yesterday. I had a blast making them. Hopefully you guys had a chance to see at least a few of them. It was a really fun day for me, you know, making those videos on Batman Return to Arkham and seeing the gameplay, kind of like a kid in a candy store, just seeing the game. And you know, that is one of the things that I do really appreciate about Batman Return to Arkham, and it's not quite on the hype levels of a new Batman video game coming out, but it's sort of close. It's reminiscent of it, I feel. I'm certainly very excited for the game to come out, and it definitely feels that way, that, you know, it's around October, and, you know, Halloween's coming up, and we've got Batman Arkham Asylum in Arkham City, and just the thought of playing Batman Arkham Asylum on Halloween gets me pretty damn excited. And, yeah, as I said, it really does feel like we're getting a whole new game, even though the story's all the same and everything like that. It, you know, it just feels like a very special sort of thing, because a lot of us don't have these games anymore. We had to sell our old consoles, or we just haven't played Asylum or City in a long while. And, you know, Arkham Asylum looks a whole ton better, and that sort of leads me into my list, actually, coincidentally. I was not trying to, I did not plan this, okay, that lead in. But, yeah, I've got my list here. Now, I did actually plan this, and I rarely do this, but I do have a list of, you know, what I love and what I hate. So I have it sectioned off, and I'll just tell you ahead of time, there's way more points in the love category of things I do like, but there's also a few concerns I have as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And as I mentioned, I accidentally sort of bridged myself in there to my first point. And one of the things I love about Batman Return to Arkham is Arkham Asylum, just in and of itself. The entire game, really, from a graphical standpoint, of course. Now, as I'm making this video, I just randomly came across this brand new channel yesterday I'd never seen before, and this channel uploaded 38 minutes of Batman Return to Arkham gameplay. You can probably search it and find it. Now, WB might take it down, but yeah, it's a cool new channel I came across the other day, and that's the video that I'm watching as I'm recording this video. And you know, as I said, I can't show you the gameplay, unfortunately, but I just think the gameplay looks absolutely stellar. The shadow environments and the asylum itself, right? And we see a lot of the textures got a little bit more black. They added a lot of and just all of the colors in the game appear to pop more. The blacks are blacker. You know, if you can even say that the blacks are darker, and it makes the game have a little bit more of an eerie tone, in my personal opinion. But also the colors pop much more. That's not just Asylum, that's Arkham City too. So the oranges in the Asylum itself, and again, the Asylum, the building itself is much more black and just sort of ominous and really just creepy and scary, even more so than the original game. But also the colors, right? So the oranges inside of the windows, the light on the asylum pop at you. And I just really think the game looks so good, and even just looking at the background aesthetic of the map, just looking at, you know, the skyscrapers in the background around the island, and you know, once again, the colors they changed that, they made it a little bit more black, and the aesthetic, the environment sort of around the map, if you look outwards to the map, looks a little bit more you know, black than bluish. I feel like there was a bluish tint to Arkham Asylum. At first, I didn't like that when I saw the side-by-side comparison trailer. Now that I'm looking at gameplay right now, you just disagree with my initial, you know, judgment, and I'm looking at the game. It really does look so much better than the original, and, you know, I couldn't be happier about that. The rain effects, I mean, I could go on, and I don't think there's any debate there that this game on Arkham Asylum does look better. With that being said, there is a debate to be made that I did literally spend 45 minutes trying to distinguish if the gameplay for Batman Return to Arkham was real or not when I first saw it. And it was real, and I had to use some fucking detective Batman shit work to figure it out. Maybe I'm just blind, I don't know, but I wanted to make absolutely sure, of course, and I feel like it should be absolutely clear whether or not a game is a remaster or not. So that leads me into one of my, negative points, is that while Arkham Asylum clearly provides a massive difference between what we basically had in 2009. I think Arkham City was so far ahead of its time that maybe they failed to provide on, a reason that the remaster's worth it for those of us that already have Arkham City and the DLC, just because it's improved in a lot of ways, like the background map environments, but also I feel like you're not going to notice a whole ton in some parts of the game. Others you will, but some parts you won't. I'll leave it at that in terms of the graphics, and I don't just want to nitpick graphics this whole video. That's rather boring. So the next thing that I love about Batman Return to Arkham, and as I said, there's way more points on the love than hate, so don't think I'm hating on the game. You guys know how it is around here. I just give it straight as it is in my opinions on things. Okay, so one of the other things that I love about Batman Return to Arkham is the faithfulness that I see personally when I watch the gameplay to the original games. And the fact of it is, we see remasters nowadays, and they change a lot of things, whether that be the gameplay, they refine certain things, or they fix glitches and that sort of thing. And if you watched my videos yesterday, I made a video about glitches, and I said that I hope that many of the, infamous glitches in the game, like the freeze stun grenade glitch where you can get out of the map and cool stuff like that, just really, really cool and crazy glitches that, hardcore fans will know, and now millions of casual fans through YouTube and stuff like that. I hope they remain in the game, and my point being is that looking at the gameplay, it feels as though they did keep a lot of that the same. They didn't change any of the voice actors. For example, Call of Duty 4 Remastered. We see that game, they changed the sounds on the Desert Eagle and certain guns and stuff like that, and a lot of fans complained about that, maybe rightfully so. And, that's just a stark contrast to this game, where everything, as far as I can tell, looks pretty much the same. So this is a positive for those of us looking at this game as a means by which to re-experience nostalgia, right? If we really play these games a decent bit ago, and reliving these moments and these games is going to feel so nostalgic for us. The games being identical and not having Arkham Knight gameplay, for example, or changing up the final boss fight because people complained about it. Those sort of things, I think, add a lot of credibility to this game and is something that we can look forward to, especially if we have played the games many years ago. Now, the last time I played Asylum in City was in June, before Batman Arkham Knight came out, and, I can't wait to replay it. That's a long time for me, because these are my pretty much favorite games of all time, right up with the Call of Duty series. I know people are going to give me shit for that, but I do like Call of Duty, I'm not going to lie, and I like Batman too, so I guess I like mainstream games, kind of popular games. But yeah, I love the Arkham series, and it's going to be a blast replaying these games. Okay, next thing I want to point out, let's get through all of the the positives, and then we'll head into some things that worry me. So I actually already mentioned this. So the pop of bright colors and the darkness. So really the color palette, basically my point here, and the third point, is the colors are more defined. The blacks are darker, and then the colors pop at you more. And it really, it contributes to the immersion, at least in my opinion, from a graphic standpoint. So my next point, all DLC included on both consoles. I really do like this about it, and we see other games such as Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which got remastered, or some other, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and $60 for both of the games, and it didn't include the DLC. I hear that they included this later in terms of a free update, but still kind of lame if you ask me. And, so they've got all the DLC in there, including Harley Quinn's Revenge. I believe Catwoman's Revenge is a DLC too in Arkham City. I could be wrong. And then Arkham Asylum, we can all play as the Joker on Xbox One and PS4, which is great news. And, I think overall, $50, if you're looking at two of the best comic book video games of all time remastered on next generation, for $50, I think it's a very good deal, even if the graphic, increase, and some people have been critical about it, isn't exactly where you wanted it to be. For Batman Arkham City, I think that still it provides a value that is worth it, I think, because I actually, interestingly enough, I went to GameStop today, I was kind of trolling, and I was like, oh, I found Batman Return to Arkham, and some people are like, oh, shit, whatever, and then I tweeted out, and it's the combo pack on Xbox 360 for Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City, and that was for sale, believe it or not, used. used, not brand new, used for $30, 30 US dollars. And that, of course, doesn't include the DLC, so you're going to buy the DLC on top of that. The fact of it is, this game provides a better value on next generation than it would on last gen if we want to buy the DLC. Because the DLC is always going to be full price. You know, they're not going to cut the price of the DLC unless you're looking at Batman Arkham Knight and the Season Pass just gets shat on everywhere, and, you know, you really have no choice just because of the negativity of it. But for Batman Arkham Asylum and City, really, just because the Season Passes aren't all that expensive, they're not going to change it. So point being, we're getting a better value on next gen with these new graphics than we would on last gen if we were to buy it today on an Xbox 360, which is pretty crazy to think about. That is pretty impressive to the testament of what this game has done. So I'm very excited for it. So my final point that I love, this is not the totality of my things that I love about the game. I think I could go on all day, but here's really the main points. And that is the background and the aesthetic of the environments. And, of course, the sort of superfluously large yellow moon is a signature of the Arkham series, alongside the ominous and sort of just insanely tall Wayne Tower in Arkham City. And you look up to the skyline, and it's just insane. And I look at Batman Arkham Knight, and I wish that's the Gotham I want to play in. When you look at Batman Arkham City, you look outside the city walls, and you see 12 100-story towers slammed on top of each other. I wish we got to play in that Gotham as opposed to the Arkham Knight map, which was still very good, don't get me wrong, but you know, it felt kind of flat to me. There wasn't enough tall buildings and skyscrapers besides on Founders Island. But again, I'm just nitpicking about a year-old game, but I do play Batman Arkham Knight just about every single week, except for when my Xbox broke, so I have hundreds and hundreds of hours in the game. So if you hear me nitpick about things that I should be over, that's why I still very much so love, you know, these games and play them all the time. But, yeah, what was I saying? Oh, shit. I went off on a tangent about Arkham Knight. Okay, yeah, the background and the environments. As I mentioned, an Asylum and City, when you look up to the skyline, it had sort of an orangish tint and then sometimes a blue tint in Asylum, depending on where you were in the map. I do like how it's a little bit more like Arkham Knight in terms of the color palette. I really, really do like it. And it's a little bit more photorealistic as opposed to the comic book look of Asylum and City, I think, in terms of the color palette. But overall, I'm down with it, and I, you know, overall, it's just, you know, I guess for some people, it's not a positive or a negative either way, it's just whatever. To me, I think it's cool, and they're making it look a little bit more like Arkham Knight, which was the best-looking video game I've maybe ever played. I don't know. I can't think of one better. GTA, to me, doesn't look as good as Arkham Knight, and partially that's because the map isn't as big, and you don't have to render that. I totally get that. But that doesn't change the fact that Arkham Knight looks better to me, so, you know, I think Arkham Knight is the prettiest video game I've ever played, and that's a testament to Rocksteady, of course, a studio, a very small studio that made the game all on their own, so, yeah, I'm just sort of sucking their dick at this point, but that's not the point of this video. Okay, so, you know, that's the main points that I wanted to get across of what I love about Batman Return to Arkham. Let's talk about some things that worry me a little bit. The first of which is that the skins that you attach are not rendered in cutscenes like they are in Batman Arkham Knight. And this wouldn't be a concern if the game came out, if this remaster came out before Arkham Knight, but because it comes out after, it feels a little bit lazy. Just because they did it in Arkham Knight, and this new Arkham game, I know it's remastered, but it's still a new game. You know, WB is going to copyright claim us like it's a new game, like we're uploading Arkham Knight gameplay a week early or some shit. So they're treating it like one, so we have to as well. And, you know, I mean, the skins aren't rendered in cutscenes. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's say I'm using the Batman Beyond skin. And, you know, I'm in the Iceberg Lounge. I punch Penguin in that super cinematic moment in the Batman Beyond skin. And then you cut to a cutscene. And when you're in the cutscene, we're not in the Batman Beyond skin anymore. We're in the regular Arkham skin. This is something that was fixed with Arkham Knight, where the skins are rendered in the cutscenes in the campaign story, which is less immersion breaking and obviously a good thing, I personally think. Unfortunately, that's not the case in Batman Return to Arkham. Not the biggest deal in the world, concededly a nitpick, I think, to many people, but as hardcore Arkham fans, it is something worth mentioning that because Arkham Knight got it, I think that the remaster in Unreal Engine 4, there's no reason they shouldn't have gotten this wrong, and I think that just a little bit more effort, just a tad more effort, I think they could have done it. I don't know if there's any code problems because they are porting the game over to a new engine. I'm not going to pretend like I have the answers to that or that they didn't try their hardest to do that, but something's telling me they didn't even make an effort. I don't know what, but something's telling me they did not make an effort to do that. And that's why it's very important as fans to make our opinions and what we want very well known. Some people give me flack for that, sort of going back to Arkham Knight history when I was being a little bit critical of the Arkham Knight DLC, of the Nightwing DLC in particular, and the Robin DLC packs, and, just told me to stop whining. If I didn't like it, I shouldn't have bought it, and that's beside the point, because I bought the DLC before the DLC actually came out. I bought the Season Pass before any DLC came out. But, and on one point, I understand those comments, but on another, if, people like me, or fans like me, and all of us fans weren't saying, like, hey, this DLC is kind of, not that good, and why can't we play challenge maps as other characters? If you remember, when Arkham Knight came out, you could only play challenge maps as the main character's Batman. That's it. You couldn't play as Batgirl, you couldn't play as Robin, anything. Only time you could play as Batgirl was in the DLC. Nightwing, anything like that, you just had to play the story and do the dual play missions and that sort of thing. And, we made that loud and clear. We didn't like that, and they fixed that. Also, we made things loud and clear, like we want to free roam as other characters, and they didn't get around to that. Whether they couldn't do it or whether they didn't care, that's a whole other thing entirely. And if they can't do it, that's one thing. But, it's important, in my opinion, to make what we want known. And, you can look at Call of Duty and the Modern Warfare remaster, and they're initially planning to ship it with 10 maps, and then people are like, that's stupid because the original game had 16. Where's the other 6? And sure enough, 1 month later, the CEO of Activision, hey guys, it turns out we actually can do the 16. They always could have. They could have done that the whole time, but they didn't because they thought they could get away with it. They could half-ass it, and the fans would be complacent. But they weren't, and guess what? Now we're getting all 16 maps. That's how this thing works. That's the free market, If we customers say, that's bullshit, we're not buying this next time you do it, then all of a sudden they care, you know what I mean? So I think that's important, long story short. And that's why if there's anything that I see that, I want changed or I think, I can contribute to, I'm going to make my voice heard. As long as it's within reason. I think I'm reasonable. I think it's reasonable to say that the Nightwing DLC was short and not good, right? And people agree with me large in part. There was a small faction that were like, oh, stop complaining, just get over it. And I don't mean to mock you, that's a fair point, but, most people agree with me. That's the honest truth of it. Okay. Man, I'm rambling today. How long are we into this commentary? Okay, pretty good. All right, let's get back on topic. Last thing that I want to talk about. No, second to last thing. One thing that I hate, it's sort of counterintuitive to one of the points that I made about how the game is so faithful to the originals. I hate that they added freaking nothing. It seems like they added nothing to the game. It really does. And this is a positive. For the sake of nostalgia, that's a positive. But to me also, it feels like you couldn't add anything. You couldn't add like one new combat mechanic. You couldn't add like a new Easter egg or wall spot or, explosive gel spot. Maybe they did, and we'll have to find it. I don't know. But something's telling me they didn't. And again, I think that shows lack of effort more than anything else. There's a way that you can balance making the game feel sort of true to the original and bringing back the nostalgia of that game, and also adding something new to make the game feel fresh. And even though I did say that I do think that this game very much so feels like a brand new Batman game is coming out, because it does, in my opinion, it's also true that it could be a whole lot cooler if they did add, I don't know, more challenge maps to Arkham Asylum or something like that. And if we don't like it, no hard, no foul. Just play the ones that came with the game. But something new I think would have been cool, add maybe Nightwing or, actually that's a horrible idea. I was about to say, add Nightwing and Batgirl to Arkham Asylum, but then, the gameplay's not really developed enough in Arkham Asylum to foster that. So, I don't know. Do you agree with me that they could have added something? I hope that there are new Easter eggs or maybe new riddles or, I don't know, something. But we'll have to see and find out. And I'm still not going to give up hope on that new Easter egg teasing the Damian Wayne game or something like that. I think that would be really cool. And I'm not going to doubt it until nobody finds it. Then I might doubt it. I'm like, okay, maybe this really doesn't exist. Because, we're Arkham fans. We find these things. We find these things most of the time. So, if we don't find it in about a month, I'm going to say it doesn't exist. Okay. Final point I want to talk about, a negative. This is a graphical sort of nitpick, and that is the facial models. And sometimes they do look a little fishy. I will just reassert, I said this when I first saw the trailer months ago. I said, it looks like Batman is holding in a massive shit. It really, I still think that. I look at his face, he's not even frowning, he just looks constipated. Like, you can look at the trailer, he's not frowning. He's really not. And it's not even a straight face. It just looks like he's about to poop his pants. It really, really does. I can't explain it. It just does, and it's kind of goofy in my opinion. But then you look at Arkham City, and his face isn't like that. So I don't know. I don't know why it's like that. Some people have complained about the Joker. I think the Joker, all they did is brighten up his colors, which I mentioned is a positive. I like that the color palette is more defined, and that's a positive for me. And Hugo Strange, you know, we've said he looks a little bit bad, you know, initially, and I made a video just on that, and that got like over 500,000 views, surprisingly, and yeah, people seem to agree with me on that, but I think they did make him look better. I'm pretty sure they did, because, you know, that complaint was loud and clear. I think they did make him look better, and, you know, they added a little bit more of that detail to his face that Unreal Engine 4 seemingly took out, so, yeah, I would say that, you know, Batman taking a dookie on Asylum looks kind of goofy, and I did not mean to rhyme dookie. That was not good. I'm gonna edit that out. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. Okay, so yeah, I don't know why that's the case, and a few other things for the graphics, but large in part, I think they're either the same or better. You know, there's very few things that we can look at in the game as like, oh, you know, the original looked better. Maybe on the original trailer we could do that with a side-by-side comparison, but I think now that we actually have gameplay, you're going to be hard-pressed to find many examples of that. And large in part, it's either the same or just a bit better, or a lot better, and anything in that spectrum, and that's worth settling. Okay, guys, I hope you all have enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Had fun recording it. Hopefully you guys have listened to it this far, and if you did, feel free to comment jelly. Comment the word jelly if you did listen to the whole video, so I know who the real MVPs are. I'm just kidding. If you got, you know, if you have things to do or whatever, you can't listen to me talk about a remastered video game for 20 minutes, I totally understand. But yeah, we're gonna see who comments jelly in the comments section below, and everybody else will be confused. Why is everybody commenting jelly? That's always the funniest part. Okay, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about Batman Return to Arkham. What do you love? What do you hate? Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe for all Batman Return to Arkham news, speculation, information, and more. We'll see you in the next one.